Are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on back to a new series that we're going to try out called Chill and Fly. We're already in the air this time, so we're just going to fly around and talk some Stranger Things. Today we have been on our favorite guest, Mr. Fabrizi. Mr. Fabrizi, how you doing today, man?
I just finished one of my college classes today. Did the last class.
Well, that's just amazing. And
Thank you.
what do you have to say about the newest season of Stranger Things? You've seen the influence um, rise among obviously the world as they prepare for the newest season of the show and the final season. Um, Marketing is starting to ramp up Doritos Target. Many different mainstream places are now starting to really show it. And Netflix is doing this likely in an effort um, to really market the show in as best of a light as it can. And just so obviously, I just want to get your opinion on this, and I'm just curious on exactly um, what you think about the newest season and how it's going to pan out for Netflix and the world once they see it.
Um, it's a good question. I feel like they're probably, what I'm saying? Yeah,
Are they going to like it? That's my question. Do you believe they're going to like it,
I mean,
Mr. Fabrizi? I mean, as you know, you have been featured on the Otis Things channel in the
no, I believe that
past.
was actually my cousin, Mr. Blake.
Oh,
But
yeah, you were actually featured on the in our choice video. Both you and your cousin were actually featured. Both of
I
you
have
guys.
no recollection. I actually have
Oh,
short-term memory loss. I apologize.
interesting. But yeah, so you have covered the show. You are basically a Stranger Things aficionado at this point. You know everything there is to know about the show. But at this point, I think the excitement is really, I mean, just a year ago, right, we were making videos, no one was excited, no one was making content, no one cared. But now we're starting to get to the point where marketing is starting to ramp up. And as a result, we're obviously um, seeing not just the fan base of Stranger Things, I notice things get excited, but also the world at large, right? People who maybe um, watched Stranger Things in the past, people who would never really know Stranger Things are now being marketed. It's really, we're starting to see it everywhere. Um, in specific retail stores, right, and other places too. So one thing I just want to know is, what do you believe the marketing, the very aggressive marketing of the show means for the newest season?
Well, that is quite interesting because as we talked about, privately, yesterday I did in fact purchase a bag of Doritos, and it was a Stranger Things branded bag of Doritos. So I think they're really putting a lot of money into the marketing. They're very likely to make it back because Stranger Things is just so large. Um, and I think it's a good thing for the show as a whole because new people are going to be watching it, and or more specifically, they're going to be watching the older seasons before they watch the new season.
Right.
But they would have never wanted to watch the old seasons if the new season didn't come out
Right.
or isn't coming out.
Um,
You know what I mean?
yeah. Obviously, the last season became a cultural phenomenon with Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush reaching number one on the most listened song for, I believe, a few weeks. Um, After 37 years of it being released. So 37 years after Running Up That Hill is released, Stranger Things season 4 is released, and the whole season becomes a cultural phenomenon, loved by all, many different age ranges. Obviously, as you say, you have recently just purchased a Doritos bag, and even if you weren't a fan, you would see it. So you're obviously starting to see it everywhere. Um, it's just great to see people, beginning to care about it after, you know, the beginning of this year and late
So I
last
have
year,
this
of
little
which
clip right here, which
obviously
I'm using as B-roll, and I want to.
we didn't we weren't everyone was excited. Everyone was not excited. Sorry, no one really cared. There wasn't really much information being released, and then we kind of covered different parts of the show, like Billy's car, Joyce's Ford Pinto, and so now we're finally in the home stretch. So what do you think? What do you think of the journey of Otis things, Mr. Blake?
Well, I think really this isn't the end of the journey for Otis things. I think Otis things, um, it could really stick around, and we could continue analyzing,
Yeah, correct.
in multiple parts of the show. This is just the beginning, I feel, of Otis
Obviously,
things.
obviously, we've mostly reviewed things for the first few seasons, right? And so obviously we have so many different things to analyze. We really only analyze a few different things from the whole show. Season 5 is going to give us so many new things in addition to all the things from older seasons that we did not analyze already, which is most things. We only analyze a few things. I don't think it's the end for Otis Things at all. I think we're looking at a very bright future of Otis Things, especially with the release. I think we definitely have the chance of success. Um, you personally, as someone that's been obviously following Stranger Things for the past year or so, through thick and thin, right, when there was no marketing whatsoever going on, and once again when no one really cared, um, how do you feel that obviously marketing is ramping up and that we're in the home stretch? What are your feelings right now?
I mean, I would just say I'm pretty glad that it's happening again. I mean, it's been such a long time between seasons, you know.
Right,
I mean, imagine if, you know,
3 years.
some major sports just started doing major gaps between seasons. Like,
Yeah.
the NFL, imagine if it was 3 years between Super Bowls, people would be pissed.
I
You know.
remember watching season 4 when it originally came out, Mr. Blake. And I remember thinking, season 5 is so long away. I, I was thinking that maybe it'd be a year, maybe it'd probably be 2 years. Never did I think it would be three. I kept rewatching the show. I absolutely loved it at the time. And, I kept thinking, we're not getting Stranger Things season 5 in a while. It's sad, but it is what it is. And now we're in the home stretch, and I personally feel pretty great about that. Um, so obviously, we're looking at that happening. Um, One specific, this up. Yep. Wait. Okay. Yep. Okay. This just in.
What?
Um, Earlier today, we do have a new Time magazine issue, of that obviously does contain a lot of information that's not obvious, but we do have a Time magazine issue. This is breaking news on Otis Things. We take you now to an Otis Things special report. This is an Otis Things special report. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this Otis Things special report. Today we have breaking news, some great news regarding Stranger Things, um, and Otis Things as well. We have a Time magazine article inside the making of Stranger Things' epic final season. Um, we've been told by some sources that this is now some of the this now has some of the most compelling Stranger Things information regarding the final season. So, one thing I would also like to say, um, Stranger Things and the cast of Stranger Things, the main cast of Stranger Things, including, um, obviously, I will list them by order. Um, I will go from right to left. We have Sadie Sink, Caleb McLaughlin, Noah Schnapp, Finn Wolfhard, Millie Bobby Brown, and Gaten Matarazzo. So those are going to be the main kids in the show. And the cover reads, "Inside the upside down world of Netflix's biggest show ever, the end of Stranger Things, October 27th, 2025." So obviously on it, it kind of has Matt and Ross Duffer, the creators of the show, photoed. Gives us some exclusive on-set um, on-set photos. You could see they're pictured with actor Noah Schnapp behind the scenes. And obviously we're seeing some individual pictures of some of the actors. And one thing that I just want to note is obviously we have a new picture with Andy and Dustin. This is obviously going to be Gaten Matarazzo and Clayton Royal Johnson. And it kind of starts to explain. Specifically, it does give some information. Government scientists, Dr. K, they're meant to be finding 11 mercenary regime called the Wolf Pack. So this obviously gives information about famous actors. Linda Hamilton and her character. They basically spend, I guess, the whole most of the season trying to hunt down 11, and we now know they are called the Wolf Pack. Obviously, we knew WSQK was built. We knew that existed. It was built to mimic the Duffers' hometown. They write simultaneously in the Google Doc, so we know all of the show is on Google Doc. What if Google had a security breach? Am I right? Yeah. And we obviously see we get some more information about Barb. That's something that's been pretty much a topic. It's one of the first things of Stranger Things that did go viral. Obviously, our very good friend Barbara, who really was a great friend to Nancy, and who died. And obviously, it says here, we neglected her, and as such, Hawkins neglected her, and that made her that much more famous, according to the Duffer Brothers. Here is going to be another picture of the cast. And, obviously they're very old now. But there's some information here which we will cover in a video, but obviously there's a lot to uncover here. It says a final boss emerges. Jamie Campbell Bower, a patient from the same lab as 11, who's grown into a monster, is linked to every creature in the Upside Down through what the characters dub Hubmind. In the beginning of Season 5, Vecna has disappeared. The gang must hunt him down while avoiding the military, which has imposed a quarantine to cover up the portal that Vecna opened between the Upside Down and Hawkins. Meanwhile, Will's nerdy buddies, Encounter 11, it just kind of goes through some of the thing. The edit suite looks like a dorm room full of fanboy figurines, like a life-size Funko Pop Stranger Things protagonist 11. A year later in their edit bay in Los Angeles, this is obviously kind of shown to be after filming is over. Twins are still guarded. They spend all morning searching for a spoiler-free scene to show me, landing on a comically mundane sequence of Lucas and Robin pushing an elevator button in the hospital. It betrays very little except that Lucas is visiting Max, who has been comatose since the end of Season 4 and apparently remained so midway through Season 5. Dramatic musical cues imply that she will be enlisted in some plan to fight the villain. Tony nominee Sadie Sink is too good not to keep, says Matt, referencing Sadie Sink's Broadway run and John Proctor as the villain. When I try to coax information out of Sink a few weeks later, she laughs. They wouldn't have kept me around if they didn't have a purpose for me. They would have killed me off, implying that Max will still be alive and well during Season 5. And that we have Lucas and Robin as a possible pair in Season 5. And that also Max will be fighting Vecna, as she said. It implies that she will be enlisted in some plan to fight the villain, meaning I do not believe she will be awake for this plan. I believe she will be asleep in her mind, fighting Vecna from her mind. I believe that's going to be her role up until the middle of the season. They say they know it's something special. The whole cast seems to talk about that. They talk about their deal with Paramount, and then they talk about how much they spent. Stranger Things is scaling up, while TV is scaling down, which I find quite interesting. And for Netflix, it does seem like it's worth the risk. So, yeah, with that, this has been an Otis Things special report. We will now take you back to your normal programming. Thank you. This is an Otis Things special report. And thank you for listening to that Otis Things special report. Mr. Blake, I know you've been listening in the background. We've been very busy just trying to get the information out. What's your we will now bring in Otis News contributor Blake Callahan for this. Mr. Callahan, what is your personal opinion on this interesting information? Obviously, you are an Otis News contributor, so I believe you will have the inside scoop as we now have gone over all this information.
I suppose
Obviously, there are several magazines and articles that have come out today with several different, possible spoilers, not really spoilers, but information regarding the new season. So I'm just a little bit curious.
I do apologize as I am currently busy. I'm doing about 57 things at once. Can you please repeat? Alright, yeah, thank you for repeating that.
What did you say, Mr. Blake?
This is the worst podcast ever.
This is not a podcast. The podcast will come later and will be posted on all podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. Head to podcast.otisthings.com for more information regarding the Otis Things podcast. Now returning to our Talk and Fly, where we talk regarding the newest information that has come out. Mr. Blake, what do you have to say?
Uh, not really anything, you know.
I have to say that I'm feeding my dog now. Please go ahead and talk to the audience about Otis things while I'm gone for approximately 30
Yeah, I'll be sure to do
seconds.
that.
Mr. Blake, my expectation is that you will talk to the audience while I'm gone. Thank you. And if you don't, you may be fired or terminated as a Otis Things contributor.
I think I'll be firing myself actually. So, to all the audience, goodbye.
All right, Mr. Blake.